And welcome back to Next Level Refs. Joining me, very special person in my life, but in world refereeing and certainly Australian refereeing, is the infamous and famous Matthew Cream. Welcome, Creamy.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks for having me along. Next Level Refs.
Oh, mate, we're looking forward to hearing about you, and obviously the very, very important job of assistant refereeing. Just before we start, I've got a massive cut where I've had some melanoma taken out for those people that are wondering why my eye might be a bit funny or the side of my face. So just another reminder for us referees that we spend so much time out in the sun that we've got to make sure that we are certainly covering up and looking after ourselves as we get out there. All right, look, mate, let's get straight into it. We're not going to spend today on your career because that very well could be, 3 or 4 weeks of talking through that. We might save that for the World Cup series, which might give us an excuse to sit down and talk about the journey that you and I took on that. But look, like I said, today let's concentrate on some of your key tips and stuff that you've been through with refereeing, particularly as an assistant referee as well. So, look, Creamy, at what point did you decide that of trying to go assistant referee or referee? There's a bit of a fork in the path there naturally. What made you make that decision? And I guess, how did you progress on to the next steps?
Yeah, sure, Ben. I think I was really fortunate that I was given opportunity really early and young in my career. I was able to pursue as a referee up the ladder, if you like, within South Australia. You and I went to the Nationals in '95 together, and it was right about then when I'd got the opportunity to become an assistant referee on the NSL, as it was that back then. And so I looked at the opportunities that were in front of me as an assistant referee, as a referee, and I also had a look at what I actually enjoyed and what I could see myself really dedicating myself to. So that's the path that I chose. I was fortunate enough. I was a referee of the year in South Australia that year. And so I had the chance to do an NSL trial game at Marconi 4 years after that first year in the NSL. And they said, right, did you want to become a referee in the NSL, or do you want a FIFA badge as assistant referee? And yeah, I had to look at who was in front of me. You were around the place, even though you were waving a flag back then. And I just really saw the opportunities of going internationally as an assistant referee were right there for the taking. So I was pretty fortunate to take up the badge, and then within 6 months, I was doing 100,000 in Israel with Chilti, and then 120,000 in Iran. So yeah, I'll never look back, and we're very fortunate to pursue that side of it. But I do think that being a referee first and pursuing that as well is really important about being a good assistant referee.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, you've probably touched on that a little bit. So for those out there right now, irrespective of their age, whether they're young referees just starting out, or a couple of years under their belt, or some of our older referees that think, maybe my skill set lies a little bit more in the assistant refereeing rather than in the middle. What's some of that advice you could give to them to concentrate on becoming an assistant referee, Cream?
Yeah, I think, well, like anything, even as a referee or assistant referee, you just have to concentrate on your skills. I think they're pretty specific duties and skills. I know a couple of referees have tried to do assistant referee drills and be found wanting with the old videotape behind them. So I think, just any opportunity to really practice your skills and really dedicate yourself to that role. Clearly, as assistant referee, offside's vitally important. And, we've got, semi-automatic offside now. That's how hard the job is. So just really training yourself. I really concentrate on timing, ball being played, where's the ball coming from, and what can we do in a training scenario to practice those drills. Just really pursuing that, making sure you're ready physically. Sometimes, being an assistant referee has different demands as a referee. So making sure your body's ready for it. And it also is a different role within the game, and you're supporting the referee in their decisions. So there's lots of facets that you can concentrate on as assistant referee as opposed to a referee. And some people do enjoy one rather than the other. And I think it's just really about taking on advice, being ready to, say yes where you're able to, and really dedicate yourself to working as hard as you can to be ready for the next opportunity.
Yeah, that's great advice. And look, Creamy, often, people, particularly the community level, and in the States, there's times where you're doing not just one line for a day where you might have to back up. What are a couple of really quick key tips, when you've got to back up between multiple games, to keep assistant referees going so they can perform the best they can?
Yeah, and people probably would have heard this before, but I think just preparing physically, like I just mentioned, I think if you arrive at the game and you're not ready and ready to perform, I know we used to tell ourselves in the tunnel before we went out, are you ready to go? You really have to make sure you're ready physically to run out, if not 90 minutes, 120 minutes, 2 games, whatever you've got on a weekend, Saturday into Sunday, midweek. I think it really is just dedicating yourself to making sure that there's never a question there with your body. And then clearly, fueling your body. So, we all heard about, fueling, carb loading, training, match day -1, match day +1, hydration, just making sure mentally you're not fatigued and you're sleeping and you're ready for concentrating for that amount of time, and just making sure that you're putting every single effort you can into all of those games, whether it be a juniors and then a reserves before the first grade or whatever it might be. Any game can give you a test and an opportunity to improve your skills. So really approach it in a positive way and take the opportunity where you can get as many games as you can.
That's fantastic advice, mate. That's great, and that'll help hopefully our referees, and assistant referees progress through to that next level. Look, mate, it's no secret that you were regarded as one of the best assistant referees in the world, as an AFC Assistant Referee of the Year. On a couple of times. Of course, you missed out on NSL Assistant Referee of the Year back in 2002, but that's another story. You've counted so many different types of football, long balls, short balls, the tiki-taka style, all of this type of stuff, really, really difficult decisions and crucial offside decisions. I know as we kind of went through the ranks, the time it takes to, the decision-making happens so much faster. Talk us through some of your decision-making over those really, really tight, difficult decisions that seem to come very, very quickly.
Yeah, I think it really is just being prepared and being ready for those occasions that you're not expecting. So, like we said before, the through balls, the balls over the top, just being ready and tracking runners and making sure that you're, saying, yeah, offside, onside, whatever it might be to yourself. Just being ready with that timing. You can see how quickly a ball's moving, and then you can get a feel for when the ball's going to be played, who's going to be played to. And usually there's a quick series of passes, and so you're ready for the next one and really thinking about it and using your mind to be prepared, which goes hand in hand with your physical preparation. And then when it comes to assisting the referee with very difficult, weird situations you're not expecting, then just being in their shoes and saying, okay, well, if the referee was standing where I was and saw this, what would they expect of me? They obviously can't see it. So I remember a situation with Streb in Melbourne once where the ball's gone through and a guy's been clattered. And I said, foul, foul, foul. And Streb said, no. Of course, he, just play on. And then I said, no, foul, 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 put the flag up and made him give a foul. And the bloke got stretchered off, and we sanctioned the player. And after the game, said, "Thanks, mate. If you hadn't done that, then obviously we would have been in some trouble." So just having that confidence and that teamwork, and making sure that everyone knows what their role is, and that you see something and that they'd expect you to help, that you would help in that way.
Yeah, mate, that dovetails so well into our last question. Really, one of the key roles and what made you so much better than so many people around. You are our longest serving FIFA official across anyone in Australia, was filling the referee with the confidence. Now, this is a fine line too between assistant referees taking over the game from the line, but I guess, like you said in that example you gave before with Shrebre, convincing them that there is something of substance there. How do you really, I guess, a good assistant referee gets their decisions correct for their own stuff, but the great assistant referees are the ones that can pull a referee out of trouble when we're in trouble. And you've certainly done that for me many, many times. How do you go about, what's that mentality and process to go about convincing the referee that there is something more there than they originally think, and what's going to be better for the game?
Yeah, I think that really comes down to that teamwork and just how you're approaching the game. I think when I was first starting out, you yourself are concentrating on your own performance and you're thinking, what can I do about offside? What can I do about balls in and out, whatever. But as you progress, I think you really recognise that the role and the assistance you can provide to the referee in fouls, in inside, outside, penalty kicks, whatever it might be, really adds to that assistant referee role. I think you have to be aware what the referee is expecting. Sometimes as a new up-and-coming assistant referee, you might be working with lots of different referees. So you need to cater what you're going to be doing for how they want the game to be refereed. And just communicating. So before the game, right, what do you want in this situation? Being aware what the referee wants, what the game needs, and making sure that you're delivering confidently what you know is going to achieve that. You can, like you say, not take over. You really have to be providing the information that the referee is going to need and that the game is going to need and that the game is going to benefit from.
Yeah, and that's right. I think you've really hit the nail on the head around that communication. Obviously, we spoke ad nauseum before the game around what roles and responsibilities, me as a referee, what you could expect from me, and then what I expected from you. And that seemed to work really well. So often we have, referees turn up to the grounds and they just shake hands and then they walk out together. So some of that probably goes back to some of that preparation you were talking about around what does each person in our refereeing team need. Mate, that's great advice for people that are just starting out, that people who are well into their career. Is there any other final little things that you would like to mention to the viewers in order to that are really considering taking their assistant refereeing to the next level?
Yeah, just enjoy it. I mean, I think I was very, very fortunate. I loved it. I invested everything in it. And I think if you do look at it as, do whatever you can for it, reach out, get, advice from anyone that you might know more than you. Be ready for the opportunity. Don't be refereeing for the next opportunity. Referee to be happy where you are, and then the next opportunity will come. But yeah, just enjoy it, mate, because I think I've been really, really fortunate to have so many great memories from my time in football, and I really look forward to seeing others achieve and enjoy their football too.
Fantastic advice. And look, on behalf of myself and Australian football, thank you so much for your contribution over so many years. And it's great to still see that you're, around the stadiums and around the pitches to help out and offer that advice. So those assistant referees budding out there, young men, young women looking to get involved, absolutely pick the brains of people like Matthew Cream and some of our amazing officials around here. And we look forward to your contributions in the game in the future. Thanks again, Creamy, for joining us and taking everyone's game to the next level.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Good on you. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.